So starting with unit 4, we are talking about today open access resources. And in open access, what we talk, like, what is the problem we have to first understand. The problem is basically that universities conduct research, right? Universities, institutions, and from where they get the money? They get money either from the funding agencies, that is mostly government organizations, or universities are paid by the taxpayers money, means the public, the people of that particular nation, they pay for the university to survive, to conduct research. Plus there are some other funding agencies. For example, in India we have DST, DBT, and Ministry of IT, and they also give some fund to conduct research. Now, by using this public money, by even the funding agency also, they are also getting money from public only, because they are also mostly are government organizations, funding agencies. So they are also paying from public. Universities are also getting fund from government, and that is basically taxpayers money. So the research is basically funded by public, of the nation or the globally public. So then the the faculty, they conduct research and publish the research as in the form of a report or in the form of articles. Then what happens? Faculty give away article copyright to publisher for free. So whatever the faculty do, they send the articles to publisher for publication, and before publishing, the publisher will ask the copyrights. They will send you a pro forma by, and you have to sign it. You have to transfer the copyright to the publisher. And in fact, this is the wonders of the another wonder of the world, that the first kind of copyright transfer where it is free of cost. The person who is transferring the copyright is free, and they do not get any money for that. So in fact, you see, when in the publication process also, the peer review means somebody from the same field, they review the article and find whether it is having a quality or not. So the peer review is also free, means they do not get any money to for reviewing the article. So everything is free till here. And then the publisher, they put money, they ask money to for giving the articles to the users or to the public or to the students or researchers, and still to libraries also. You see, in Elsevier's profit margin exceeded Google's. That is also one of the studies that has proved that Elsevier, that is one of the journal publisher, its profit margin exceeded Google's also. So you can imagine how big the market is of publishing. And then the students, researchers, and others still can't get the article they need, and libraries cannot purchase all the articles. So basically the public, the students, researchers, and others are the public, and they, it is their work that they have to pay to access their own work. In fact, it happens that some of the authors who have transferred the copyright to publisher, and if they want to have the copy of their own article, they have to pay for the for to the publisher. So basically the access is closed. That is the problem, that is the main problem. That is why open access came into existence. So what is open access? Open access is free, immediate online availability of research articles, coupled with rights to use these articles fully in digital environment. That is important to understand. What is basically the open access is? It is free. Free means, like, you do not have to pay anything to access the article. And here free means that another the free means that you have all the rights also. It's not just the money, but you have the right also. It is not the any copyright that is protecting you to access or to use that particular resource. Then immediate. Open access means immediately, when the moment it is published, it should be immediately accessible. And where it should be accessible? It should be online available. For online it should be available. There should be some location from where the person can download it online. Then it should also be coupled with, it should also be along with the rights to use these articles. Means you have the right to use. It is not just the access but also the rights also, like license also. You have got the license also to use that particular article for your research and in your digital environment, like that. This is one Spark definition. So in digital era, open access is process by which scholarly peer-reviewed journal articles are made freely available to anyone, anywhere over the World Wide Web. That is another definition. We can say that it is the process by which scholarly peer-reviewed journals articles are made freely available to anyone, anywhere over the World Wide Web. Another definition we see, open access is the free, permanent, immediate, full text online access for any user web wide to digital scientific and scholarly material, primarily research articles published in peer reviewed journals. So this is one another definition of open access, that says that it should be free, it should be permanent. You cannot say that after 5 months we will remove it. Then immediate, at the moment it is published it should be available. Full text, it's not like the only abstract should be available, the full text should be available, or it should be online accessible. There should be no discrimination among the user, for any user, not just registered user. No, if it is only for registered user, then it is closed access, it is not open access. Web wide means from anywhere in the world it should be available. What usually it contains digital scientific scholarly material, primarily research articles that are published in a peer reviewed journal. So this is one of the definitions of open access. I think it must be clear for you now what is open access. So we'll discuss some of the features of in detail. Open access literature is in digital form. Usually open access is in digital form because online availability is possible only when it is in digital form. Then literature is free of charge. You do not have to pay anything to access that particular literature. There is no licensing, nothing is there. Then copyrights, free of copyrights. You do not have to, means there is no limit of copyright. Yeah, attribution rights will be there. Author's right, attribution right will be there. Uh, then compatible with guarantee of worldwide access. It should be a worldwide accessible, equal right to all, irrespective of color, caste, creed, sex, and religion. You cannot discriminate between on the basis of color, caste, creed, sex, and religions. कि हम इसको open access करेंगे, इसको नहीं करेंगे. You cannot specify that. And it is mainly the open access campaigns are there. A lot of campaigns are running. Focuses on literature that authors give to the world without expectation of payment. Without the literature to authors, it should be available to authors without expectation of any payment. Open access is compatible with copyright, peer review, and revenue. It doesn't mean ki if it is open access it is not peer reviewed. In fact, people are earning revenue also using open access. Only difference is they are charging article processing charge at the time from the authors to make their articles peer review. Then print, you can print it, you can preserve it. In fact, you can earn prestige also. Open access journals, if you are publishing, it doesn't mean that it is of low quality, so you will earn prestige also. Career advancement also you can use. Indexing and support services, so conventionally scholarly literature, everything it is compatible. Every where it will be indexed by all the scholarly this one search engines mostly, like that, so it is compatible. So what is the benefit as a researcher? What are the benefits that you get when you publish in a journal that is open access? So there are a lot of journals which are they have declared them as open access journals. So first benefit is that you increase visibility of research. So if you publish your article in an open access journal, always there will be chances that your article will be more visible because it can be easily downloaded, freely downloaded, so everybody can download it. So more readers can read your article. So if your article is not available, or it is in commercial database, commercial journal, there are chances that some of the users will not be able to read your full article. So that is one benefit you get. Then free unrestricted access brings in educators, business owners, and support owners to scholarly content. So public, even general public can also access it. You press people or businesses or education people, like they also, educators also, they can access it. So the in fact it is economical also. So economical in the sense that most of the open access journal, they provide waiver for the article processing charges. So very less fee you have to pay, or no, even for the low income countries, they waive off the full article processing charge also. Then it also has increased citation rates also. So the more if an article is published there are studies that they say that if an article is published in an open access journal, then it will have 1.5 times more citation frequency as compared to the subscription based access article. So if you're choosing your publication destination as open access, so there are chances that you will get more citations. And then enrichment of research funds. And the research funders, whatever the money people are paying as a tax, that can be utilized by the people itself. That is another benefit of open access. So what are the vehicles of open access? How open access can be implemented? So there are two ways that way open access is basically implemented. One is that is through open access journals, and another is through open access archives. So archive, or you can say open access repositories, where these are some databases, open access databases where you can upload, and there are some full-fledged open access journals. So we'll discuss each one by one. So open access journal, what is open access? It is also referred to as gold open access. If you are publishing your article, or the path that is open access journals have, that is called gold open access journals. So it is free, immediate, permanent, full-time open access for any user who has access to internet, may link, read, download, store, print off, and use the content of that article. So open access journals are one medium. There are a lot of open access journals. We will see in the upcoming classes what are some examples of some open access journals. And basically the thing is that it is published as a journal, there will be some editor, there will be some publisher, a publishing body will be there in behind, and the proper flow of peer reviewing and everything will be done as it is done for subscription based journals. Only difference is that the articles are openly accessible. Anybody having internet can download that article, store it, use it, even they can share it, and they can also preserve it for future purpose also on, or they can make it available on other websites also. And then you have open access archives. Open access archives is it is that particular way is called green open access. So in green open access, what happens that there will be a digital repository where authors, owners of the content may achieve archive their it's not achieve, it is archive their documents. Means like for example in BBA also we have one digital repository, that is institutional repository. So once my article is published, or my any production, any product of my research, I can upload it in digital repository. It will give me a link that I can share, and I can get citations on that particular article. So when authors make their articles freely available in digital form on internet, they are said to be self-archiving them. And that is also called self-archiving. Like the journal is not archiving my article openly accessible, but I am making it as openly accessible. That is called green road to open access. Stephen Harnett said that it is a green road to open access. So self-archiving is another method through which the articles are openly accessed. So you might have seen that if you have done some research, you will get some uh, profile pages on the website of universities. Every faculty will have their profile page, and there they will list all the publications they have with their PDF copies or the document copies. There are other issues associated that of with self-archiving that we will discuss later on. Then what are the the ways of through which we can putting articles on author websites that I was mentioning that for example, as author, university has given me one space, web space on its website, and there I can upload all my articles, like that is called author websites. Or disciplinary archive. Disciplinary archives are like for example in library science we have ELIS, e-prints in LIS. That is one disciplinary archive that is specifically related to the particular date, the subject. For example, in computer science there is DPLB, someone there, no? So disciplinary archives, a lot of disciplinary archives are available where the articles can be uploaded. Take like for example archive, .org, that is for physics and other subject related subjects. Bioarchives for biological, lot of websites. Disciplinary archives are available. Then third option is that depositing articles in institutional archives or repositories. Institutional repositories are a different service. Like for example, our university also has an institutional repository, and right now it is not functional because they have installed some other software for remote access availability, but it is available basically. Like for example, you see if you go to IIM Ahmedabad institutional repository, if you search, or IISc, if you search ePrints at IISc, you'll get their institutional repository. So whatever the research that is conducted in IISc, the authors can upload their articles in that repository. So it will be available at a single place. So these articles can be either preprints or postprints. That is another this one. The two terms that we need to understand: what is preprint and postprints. Preprint means the manuscript that we write before sending it to the publisher, the final manuscript, that is called preprints. And postprint is that once the peer review process is over, the final version of the paper is the manuscript is the postprint. And there is another term that is called PDF, publisher PDF. Publisher PDF means that particular version which is basically designed by the publisher. So what happens that there will be one manuscript that we will type on Microsoft Word, say for example, and then we will send it to the publisher. So publisher is will send it to for the review. So after review there will be some suggestions. So we will again I will open that file and I'll make corrections and again send back to reviewers. Once the editor accepts my final manuscript, that will be called accepted manuscript, AM. So the accepted manuscript is nothing but a postprint. And then the accepted manuscript will be sent to the publisher, and they will modify it and they will present it in a very good looking format called PDF format that you usually see the publisher PDFs on internet when you download some article. So that is publisher version, accepted manuscript, that is postprints, and the draft first manuscript, that is preprint. So there is one website called Sherpa that maintains public database of publisher self-archiving policies. Like for example, whether you have to check before you are posting the articles on author websites or digital archives, you have to check whether the publisher of the particular journal that supports the supports or they their archiving policy allows you to do this or not. So you can see there is one website, we'll see later in the screenshot also of this. So that is what it is discussed here also. What is preprint? A draft version of the article that have not undergone peer review or editorial review or modification. Okay, so that is called preprints. Postprints are the final published version of articles. They can either be publisher version of the article or an updated preprint that author creates to reflect any changes made during the peer review process. So we'll discuss in detail what are the open access gold path and green path. So the routes of open access, we say, or paths of open access. So there are two routes. This we have already discussed: the gold final print version, the green path, the accepted version. So in the gold one, the final print itself is available free of cost to freely immediately accessible to public. And author institution, sometimes some author institutions have to pay article processing charge, that is APC, that is article processing charge, to the publisher to make their article open access to freely available. So this is there is one more model, like uh, in one issue there will be some 2 or 3 articles that will be subscription paid and one article, 2 articles that will be open access. So article level open access, and this is they have applied because a lot of open access movement happened, and the publisher also they have shifted to this model where they are now asking for the article processing charge from the author itself or the institution itself, and then after they are getting that money, they are making it as a open access article. In green open access, what is there, the accepted version is available and no fees is paid to the publisher, and papers are often available after an embargo period. Embargo period is that period that some of the publisher they have restrictions that you can not self archive your articles before 12 months, after 12 months, or before 12 months, or you cannot self archive your articles after 6 months, before 6 months, or you cannot self archive your article before 1 month. So this period is called the embargo period, where in which the authors are restricted to make their articles self archive. So two ways to provide green open access, this we have already discussed. You can read it through the slides also. Then we will talk about little bit the different open access initiatives. And again, I will ask you all to this one. This we will discuss in the next class, maybe on the uh, when tomorrow at 9:30 we will discuss about some of the open access initiatives and other concepts.